Here's a look at that fish. It's a tank. It's an absolute beast. Look at that fish. Oh my goodness. Nice fish. Absolutely smoked that fucking bait, man. Yeah, look at that bait. Smoked it, dude. All right, that was unbelievable. That was sick. Hinkle pinned, side of the face, both trebles. That was nasty. GoPro stopped recording. For my own sanity, I'm gonna see how much this fish weighs. It keeps getting smaller and smaller, so. Nice little butterball. Got a weird mark on her side over here, but let's see. Okay. Okay. Just a little 6-pounder. Nice butterball. Blind in one eye on this side. But beautiful, beautiful bass. Absolutely smashed that hinkle. So sick. All right, calm down. Calm down. You're right. Okay. Nice. Nice. A little beat up, but she'll be alright. Go back into the dock. All right, we're gonna weigh this fish right now. I think it's like a 9.4, something like that. Okay, zeroed. Do that. Zeroed out the fish gripper. Okay. There's a look at that fish. It's a tank. It's an absolute beast. Look at that fish. Oh my goodness. Absolute tanker. Okay. Let's weigh this guy. £10, 8 ounces. My second ever double digit. Wow. It's a tanker. Monster bass. That fish is an absolute beast. Look at that fish. Insane. All right, big beastly fish. Time to get her back home. Oh. All right. Incredible fish. Second ever double digit. Come on, girl. She goes. She lives in Apple Valley, sure.
Just got broke off. I just got broke off. Hit me in the net. Hit me in the net.
Dude, your line's all fucked. You see those? Yeah. You hit that? Dude, that was a...
There's two of them. There's two of them.
Tell me what happened.
And they were both the same size.
Dude, that...
Dude, I can't believe I just lost the fish on a fucking jump.
Oh my fucking god.
No fucking way. Dude, she fucking had the front treasure. She's not.
I can't believe I just lost that fucking bait, dude.
Fucking dope as fuck, man. That was dope as shit. That was
So fucking dope.
That was so sick. Figure 8 Hinkle trout fish. Wow. Oh my god, that was so dope. Holy shit. Oh my god, dude. Alright, we're gonna weigh this fish. Should be zeroed out on the scale. Nice healthy fish, probably high 7s is what I'm thinking. Come on. All right. Oh wow. She is way bigger than I thought. Well, I don't know if you guys can see that, but 8 pounds, 12 ounces. Nice fish. Guess she's got a bit of a belly. Nice. Healthy fish. Beautiful. You love to see it. It's a good one. All right, girl. Real nice, healthy fish. Oh, nice fat belly. Beautiful fish. Okay. All right. We're good to go. If you asked me what my favorite hard bait / glide bait was, there might be maybe a half a second delay before I kind of inevitably told you that it's this guy right here, the Andrew Hinkle trout. This has been a bait that I've been fishing for almost a decade now, and ever since I got my first one when I was that kid way back then, I fell in love with this bait. I thought it was the coolest looking glide bait on the market, and I still think it still has that title. I knew it was a big fish catcher. Guys all over the country were catching giant bass, especially the Southern California guys, on this bait, and I thought I just had to have one. So the very first Hinkle I ever bought was $325, and that was back when I was, oh man, I think I was 18 years old, and I spent that much money on one single lure. But I was the happiest kid ever because I got my hands on what I basically knew was going to be my favorite glide bait of all time. And many years later now, I've lost that one, and I've lost multiple other Hinkles throughout the years of buying them and fishing them. But I've had so much success and I've had so much fun fishing this bait that I still buy them even when guys sell them to me for $450, $500, $550. It's my favorite glide bait of all time, and I just have to have them. Now, the bait that everybody kind of already knows as my number one soft bait is the Working Class Zero Tyrant 10. I've made multiple videos recently fishing this bait and having a lot of fun and a lot of success throwing it in what you guys saw in today's video, where I caught a 10-pounder on the Tyrant 10, and I also caught some decent fish to big fish on the Hinkle trout. And so during the winter time here in Arizona, for the most part, we always get some type of trout stocking, and for a 1-2 punch, the Hinkle trout and the Tyrant 10, I could basically cover every part of the water column and catch multiple big fish in one season on these two baits. And that's basically all I need. I could basically only have 2 rods for the entire season and be super fine and super happy fishing both of these baits. And I know with just these 2 baits alone, I have the possibility and the chance of catching that double-digit class fish or even teen class fish. And so when I go out, a lot of times I'll only have these 2 baits tied on with 2 rods, and that's basically what I'll fish for maybe weeks, months at a time, without ever really changing it up because I have so much confidence in both of these baits. So those first 2 fish that you guys saw, those were actually from the same day. So I remember I launched the boat, I dumped in, and I went over to one of my favorite little dock areas that I fish all the time, and I was throwing the Hinkle, made that cast up there, and got absolutely smoked by that 6-pounder. And that fish had it T-bone, both sides of the mouth, pinned with the trebles. Like, that fish absolutely smoked it. It's always interesting getting bit in that area because it's like, well, how am I supposed to land the fish when I've got that big barrier kind of blocking the way? But luckily enough, I haven't had any disastrous moments fishing that area yet. So that fish came on the Hinkle trout. You know, I went over, weighed that fish, took a couple photos, released it right where I caught it again, and then I kept fishing my normal kind of milk run that I always do on that lake. And I rolled up to a spot that maybe a couple weeks prior I was getting some bites on, but I never connected. So I was like, all right, let me slide back in here again and try and catch those fish. And that's when I picked up the Tyrant 10 and just long cast down there, kind of parallel with that wall of the marina. Now, that wall, it probably goes down a few feet or so, and there's a bunch of cables that come out. It's a pretty gnarly spot. Every time I fish that area, it's basically one cast you have to retie because those cables will absolutely destroy your fluorocarbon. So I know the risk of fishing that area, but I know that there's giant bass that sit in that spot, and so you kind of have to weigh the risk and reward of it. So that day, I made a cast, not even the best cast I could have made in that spot, but I made that cast with the Tyrant 10. I let it sink all the way down to the bottom, and you start your retrieve. You kind of come over one of the cables, you let it sink back down, then you come over another cable, and as I was speeding it back up to kind of like burn it up to the boat, that's when that fish absolutely smoked it, and somehow I got lucky and landed that fish. Now, I'm trying to stay very, very calm and very, very quiet because there was a few other bass boats around, and I just didn't want to draw attention to what I was doing. So, unfortunately, I don't even show it up to the GoPro because there was so much activity. I was like, hold on, let me just try and sneakily put this thing in the live well and then I'll go and hold it up somewhere else. And so that day, that fish was, you know, a 10.5 pounder, and then I caught a 6. So I've had a lot of days like that where I catch, you know, one like solid fish, 6 to 7 pounder, and then I catch one that's in that like 8, 9, maybe 10 range. And those are always days where it's like, all right, the fish were just juiced that day. I was on it. I was making the right cast in the right spots to catch those fish. And it's those days that you hope for and that you wish for that you have, but those come very, very few and far between. But when it does happen, I'm very appreciative of it. And that was just one of those really, really good days. Now, after that, the clip of me snapping off my Hinkle with my buddy Phoenix, that one was an absolute heartbreaker. I'd been fishing that season. We actually didn't get any trout. And so the fishing was really, really tough. Like, there was only a couple spots in the lake that I even saw fish at. And without the trout, those fish kind of just don't set up in the same exact spots. And so it's very slim pickings on where you can find these fish. So I remember sliding up in there, making the cast at the Hinkle. And that dock, it had some type of like, I don't know, rebar that kind of went into the water. And what I was basically doing is I was kind of gliding the bait underneath the dock, gliding it out. And every time I did that, I was kind of rubbing up against these rebars that were in the water. And that basically frayed up my line like crazy. However, I didn't know about that. And so when I saw there was a fish absolutely juiced on it, like, I honestly, there was 2 of them that were on it. The first one that I saw was probably a 6 pounder. And I remember seeing that 6 pounder and be like, oh snap, they're like, there's a good one on it. And then all of a sudden that 6 pounder kind of gets pushed out of the way from, I don't know, I mean, maybe an 8 pounder, and it just comes up, and I glide it one more time, and it eats it, headshots it, and as soon as I went to set the hook, snap, gone. And I watched that fish kind of shake its head with my Hinkle on the side of its mouth, and I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And then I felt my line, and it was absolutely frayed to just beyond repair, and so I stood no chance. And so I was really, really bummed about that. Obviously, you know, if I just cast off the Hinkle, it's one thing. But when I, you know, put that bait in the spot and I get the bite and I break off at the same time, it's like, God dang it. Like, I lost a really, really nice fish and I lost the bait. Like, really sucks. And then, you know, like, like that bait is hanging on the side of a fish's face for who knows how long until it can actually shake it. And so that really, really bummed me out. So I kind of got my redemption maybe like a few weeks later, maybe a month later even, and I kind of did that same thing as you guys saw. This time I kind of avoided those rebar that were on the dock, and so I glid it, and as soon as I kind of get it close to the boat, I notice that there's a fish following it, but it's kind of skeptical, and so I start trying to do like an 8-trap motion, and I keep throwing the Hinkle like super, super shallow underneath that dock. And after a while, I saw that the fish was kind of getting more and more juice, and I was like, oh crap, I think I can get this thing to bite in the 8-trap. So I keep messing with it, and finally, the fish is kind of underneath it trying to get it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to kind of like let it hang on one of these 8-traps, and as soon as I kind of hung it, that fish came up, headshot it, and that was that 8-pound, I think 12-ounce fish. So, really nice fish. I don't know if it's the same fish that I hooked, you know, a few weeks prior. It was probably in that same size range, but, you know, that spot has a lot of big fish. It could have been the same one for all I know, but I was just super glad to kind of get my revenge and at least catch one from that spot that season. And I was super, super stoked to catch it. So, the Hinkle and the Tyrant, my absolute go-to for the wintertime, and just if I'm chasing after trophy class bass, these are kind of the 2 baits that I gravitate towards. I obviously love my like Depths 250s, my Clashes, you know, I love the Hog Hunter Magnums, but time and time again, these are the baits that I gravitate towards, and I have the most fun fishing these baits. I've had a lot of success with those 2 baits, and so it's kind of like those things where these are the only things that I need to catch giant bass. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Had a lot of fun catching those fish. This is just bass fishing. Sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you get unlucky and you snap off or you lose some really big fish. Other than that, thank you guys ever so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.